Just keep going. You got crayons.
All righty. Good morning, Dashers. It's me, your host, Dash, for Morning Dash. We're ready to talk about the top 10 NES games. We've already done Atari. We've done in television. We've done ColecoVision. Now we're moving on to NES, Nintendo Entertainment System games. This was pretty much the bulk of my childhood. Got my first system while I was in junior high, and I've had one ever since. So I love NES games. Feel free at any time to comment. Let me know what your top 10 is. Like to hear it. If I missed any of your favorites, let me know. If I got some of yours, let me know as well on that one. I love NES. Obviously, the first of the Mario, where we finally got really introduced to Mario, besides Donkey Kong, but we didn't know anything about that. But yeah, I spent many hours playing Nintendo. My brother and I had lots of games. A lot of them that I love didn't make the list, but we'll see. Let me know what you got. So I'm going to bring up my slides here. We'll talk about it. This is right here. This is some of the ones that I could never finish. These were hard. And so I had to put the ones I hated the most, the top 4 I hate the most, on today. Silver Surfer, never could figure that game out. TMNT, you ain't getting past trying to undo the bombs that are underwater. Ghosts and Goblins, if you finish that, I would like to know if you ever finished Ghosts and Goblins, because that I never finished that one. And I still, to this day, I am 50 years old and still don't know the reason for Kid Icarus. But that being said, if there's ones that you hate, let me know in the comments as well. I'd like to hear which ones you hate as much as I do. All right, but let's get on with it. Number 10, Tetris. I mean, I love Tetris. I don't think there's some 13-year-old kid just destroyed Tetris. It stopped from. I don't think he'd go anymore. His computer stopped, or his screen stopped, and so yeah, I guess there is an end to Tetris. But yeah, it's funny. I could play this all the time. I don't get very far, but the reason it makes the top 10 is because of the time consumed. And now the girls are playing it and trying to learn how to play it. So that's pretty cool. It's fun to get your young ones brought into your world, into the things that made you happy as a child. So now they're doing the same thing. Coming in at number 9, we got Gauntlet. This is one of the ones other day I wanted to make. I think this would make a great movie. Like, I really do think Gauntlet would make a fantastic movie. Just nothing but running around dungeons and trying to escape and fighting ghosts and goblins and monsters and ogres and trolls. I just think that would be one of the coolest movies. But I love the game. I first played it in the arcade, and then I spent hours and hours and hours. I got to level like 50 or 60. Never could beat it. It just got really hard, but still have the game, still love it, still play it every once in a while, still can't get past the certain levels, but it's still fun nonetheless. Coming in at number 8, Wizards and Warriors. Many hours. My cousin and I would play this. Richard, if you're out there listening somewhere someday, my cousin Richard and I would play this all the time. Come home from school, and we would sit and play Wizards and Warriors and try to beat our high score. We finished it so many times, and just spent many times. We both, my cousin and I, have a bad habit of dipping Copenhagen, and we spent so much time playing this game. that in my window we built a pyramid of cans. After every can that we finished, we put it in the window. As my niece knows about that. You drive down towards our house and you can see my huge Copenhagen pyramid in my window because of that's what we spent doing with this game. I just love this game. You're going around finding keys, jewels, and things like that to take down the wizard who is controlling the land. Loved it. Played many hours. This is another one that I played many hours on. Coming in at number 6 or 7, excuse me, number 7 is Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I mean, who doesn't love? When it first came out, it was just Punch Out, and then NES got the licensing for Mike Tyson, and for the longest time, it was Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You had to fight. You start with Glass Joe, and you move up through the ranks, and you take on Mike Tyson. There was Super Macho Man. There were so many different Sandman. Who else was there? Piston Honda, Don Flamencio, so many there to fight. King Hippo. I did beat this. There was a cheat code, but I never had to use a cheat code to get to Tyson. I actually went all the way through several times. You just kind of learn your pattern and you take it on. And but after a while, I think it was after the whole Evander Holyfield fiasco where he bit his ear. I think they took his name off Punch Out. And now it's still Punch Out again, and they've got so many different ones and different fighters. But yeah, Punch Out, the original one, was great. Loved it. This will probably be the most obscure for a lot of people. To me, this is like if you ever played Commando. Gunsmoke is like that, but set in the Old West. It's basically the same game engine. You're running through towns, fighting outlaws, picking up money, picking up gold. For some reason I just like this. It was fun. Almost like I said, the same game engines as like your top to bottom scrolling, like 1942, 1943, the aircraft ones. But this one I loved. It was way better than Commando, I thought. You could pick up your double guns, and they would shoot faster. Nothing spectacular about it. It's just it nostalgia of me. I love Gunsmoke. I am currently looking to get this one back. I sold this one before I joined the military. I sold it, so now I'm on the hunt to try to find this game. It just holds so many special memories to me. Next up, I mean, who doesn't love Contra? You finally had Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in a game. At least that's the way I viewed it. Contra this is still one of the hardest games that I think I've ever played as well. But it still holds a lot of memories. You're fighting the aliens, pick up all the power-ups. Konami was great at some of these side scrolls. And Contra was probably, to me, Contra is one of the best ones that they ever did. It spawned, like, I think there's 2 other sequels to it. But nothing beats the original. You even had the cheat code. What is it? I may even try to remember up, down, A, B, start, something like that. I think that gave you unlimited lives. Somebody out there, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was the cheat code to get the unlimited lives. But yeah, I love Contra. Another game I finished once. I only finished this once, I think, and I got lucky. But still, to this day, one of the best games I ever played. Up next, Castlevania. The original Castlevania. Well, I love all the Castlevanias, and probably on the grand scale of things, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Quest, is probably the best, hands down, Castlevania. To me, nothing beats the original for the nostalgic version of, and just gameplay. I loved it. It scared the crap out of me. At times, you got a little. Oh, here we go. Thanks, Travis. Up, down, left, right, B, A, start. There you go. So I was close. You have to admit I was close on that one. You got to give me a little bit of props on the Contra cheat code there, if you will. I was pretty close. But yeah, I'm still looking. I think I have it on the mini system. I don't have it for my large system, but I do have Contra on my mini emulator system that they came out with, a couple years ago, where you could have like 30 games built into it. But I am looking for the original and box. So if anybody out there ever sees that, let me know. I'd like to try to get a hold. I'm sure it's probably a pretty penny in box, but we'll make it work. But thank you, Travis, for the comment there. Let's see what we got here. Simon's Quest. Yeah, we're now we're talking about Castlevania. Simon's Quest was yeah. See, a lot of people that's where I differ from. I think yeah, probably. I mean, I think that's why I played Castlevania 1 way more than I played Castlevania 3. But I love the entire lineup. You cannot go any Castlevania game, you cannot go wrong. And Simon's Quest was 2, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Give me a thumbs up or something. I do believe that Simon's Quest was number 2, and then it was Dracula, and then I loved all of them. So, but thank you. We'll move on. Tecmo Super Bowl. This is the Travis says yes. Simon's Quest was number 2. Tecmo Super Bowl. I know they had Tecmo Bowl, but Tecmo Super Bowl was just a little bit better. I think they had expanded some teams on there, expanded some of the players. But coming from Atari and television to NES football, just hands down some of the better quality games. I mean, look at what we have now. We have with Madden and the college with EA Sports, how far we've come in football games to the real almost the realism of you're able to franchise it and things like that. But Tecmo Super Bowl was fun. I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. They had Tony Dorsett, so I had to play with Dallas. But I think the Raiders had Bo Jackson on there, some big name players in there. But Tecmo Super Bowl was one of the premier football games for the longest time. Like I said, it was hours and hours and hours of fun playing this, trying to beat your score and beat the computer on hard, and nothing wrong with that. Number 2. This is my number 2. You guys would be surprised at some. I know I probably missed a lot of people's favorites. Legend of Zelda comes in at number 2. The original, the Link going after the Triforce to save Zelda. Ganon was the bad guy. Have to find all the secret passages and set the bombs and find the swords and find the get your heart meter up. So once you finally got to the end, you could take on Ganon and beat the big bad evil guy at the end. Still to this day, there's how many Zeldas now? There's tons, and now they've come. The newest Zelda game that is coming out, if you check it out, has Zelda rescuing Link. It's like almost like a reboot. I don't want to say a reboot, but kind of a alternate world, if you will, where Zelda has to save Link, and I think that one's going to be a really good game. I mean, we've saved Zelda numerous times over the years. And so I'm looking forward to that new Zelda game coming out. I think it's a download, and I can't remember the exact date. If I find the exact date, I'll post it in the comments later. I should have done my homework a little bit more. But other than that, this was one of the, you had a lot of games that copied this. Travis talked about last night, one of his favorite games that I didn't get on there, but I do love Final Fantasy. It was the start of the Final Fantasy genre or the series. I still think Final Fantasy is going to this day. It spawned many games, many cartoon shows, animes. But the reason I don't have Final Fantasy was hard, and Travis talked about it last night where he spent many hours and playing that. And I don't know if I could do Final Fantasy now. I like watching people play it. It was just one of those ones that I just could never finish, and it was pretty difficult to me. But I was glad that Travis shared that with me. And finally, my number one. A lot of people think I'm crazy. Skate or Die. Still, I know we have Tony Hawk out there and all these other. There was 720 and some other skate games out there, but Skate or Die was, man. I probably of all the NES games that I've ever played, I probably have the most hours logged into this game, trying to come up with new tricks on the half pipe here, and trying to pull off all the. We had to go get the. Excuse me, sorry. We had to go get this controller that had the circle on it. There was the pad with the directionals, but there was a new controller that came out with a circular where you could move. And my cousin Richard and I played. This is another one that we played a lot, and we wore out like. I don't know how. I think 5 or 6 controllers. We had to buy 5 or 6 controllers for this, just due to the amount of wear and tear we put on it, trying to pull off tricks on the half pipe. But still, I love this game. It's probably my favorite. I've talked about this game. I've posted about this game so many times, and this is another one that I'm trying to find in box. I wish that little NES emulator, the little one that we have that has 30 games on it. I wish that this game was on there because I would love to get my kids involved in this one. I think they would have a good time. So, yeah, that's my top 10. Some of my, honorable mentions. Top Gun, another one. The only thing I couldn't, one of the hardest things to do in the world was land on the aircraft carrier. Yeah, thanks, Travis. Skate or Die is fantastic. I didn't play it as much, but Tony Hawk 2 was probably I played Tony Hawk on the PlayStation when we were deployed a lot, or when I was in the military. Tony Hawk 2 was one of the greatest, But I probably have more hours on Skate or Die than I do Tony Hawk for sure. But this is some of my honorable mentions: Top Gun, Super Mario 3. Double Dribble, Russian Attack. This was probably Super Mario 3 was the best in my opinion, hands down, is the best Super Mario of all time. Even with the ones that are on the Wii and the GameCube and all the different SNES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. To me, Super Mario Brothers 3 will always be the greatest Super Mario Brothers game out there. Double Dribble. I got it for Christmas one year. And I would play. I would, as a kid, I would play. My number 10. My number 10 is Tetris. Tetris is my number 10. I also talked about some of the games I hated. I'll go back to it real quick. That's some of the games I hated right there. Silver Surfer, TMNT, Ghosts and Goblins, and then Tetris. Yeah, Tetris was my number 10. And then these are some of my honorable mentions that I still love to play them. And you're very welcome, by the way. You're very welcome for that. I'm curious to see what your top 10 is as well. Maybe if I do one of the PlayStations or something like that, since you talked about that, maybe you can join the show, Travis. If you want to, just let me know, and we'll do a top 10 PlayStation or whichever console you'd like to talk about. Maybe we can get on and do a show together like this about our top 10s. Just let me know in the comments. But yeah, I love Top Gun, even though I couldn't land on the aircraft carrier a lot. Super Mario Bros. 3, like I said, still the best Super Mario. Double Dribble, I think it's still one of the best uh, basketball games in my opinion. And Russian Attack uh, it's kind of like Contra uh, for me, but this was just dealing with military more, and you're inside a compound doing the same thing you were doing in Contra. Great, I will get with you on that. Probably, I'm doing Sega Genesis next week. If you want to join me with that one too, so just let me. If you want to do Sega Genesis, I'm going to do my top 10 on that. Shoot out. Let me know which ones you want to do, and I'll be glad to have you on. And then, like I said, next week, next Friday, we're going to be doing the Sega Genesis games. We're going to continue our trek through all the game consoles. We'll even be doing handheld. The handheld. We got to do Sega Genesis, and there were some great games. Some great games for Sega Genesis. Probably one of the best hockey games I've ever played in my entire life came out on Sega Genesis. So we'll see about that. But yeah, that was our top 10 NES. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if some of the games that you like didn't make it, let me know in the comments or share them with me. We can always do another NES down the road. Revisit top 10s, revisit a new top 10 or top worst games. Just let me know in the comments below what you'd like to do. Hope you enjoyed it. Next Wednesday, we have our for Morning Dash. I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars: The Acolyte. If you are a fan of Star Wars: The Acolyte, I would probably not tune into that one. That was not my favorite Star Wars at all. So we'll be talking about that. Then next week we have the Sega Genesis. Possibly have another small indie author. We just did Edward Davis yesterday and his indie products. Go check out that video. It's all about how to start. If you're an indie author, indie comic book artist, go check out that video. It's not very long. It shows how to get started, and it helps out his business. He's got a Kickstarter. Go check it out. It's still up on my page from yesterday. It helps small business. If you guys like to help small businesses, please go help Edward and get his book off the ground. He's doing really good, but any backers that he can get, the better. So other than that, I appreciate you coming out on this fine Friday. Travis, again, appreciate all your comments. Love to hear what your top 10 is. So let me know later or post it in the comments. And we got one here from James. Thank you. Zelda, Metroid, Tecmo Bowl, Ninja Gaiden, Mario 3, Friday the 13th, Metal Gear, Bad Dudes. Yeah, you've got some great ones in there. That's a fantastic. I forgot about Metal Gear. Man, see, shows what I know. Sometimes I miss. Metal Gear was a great game. Hiding in I mean, what else can you do when you can hide in a box to get by the bad guys? Got cigarettes. If anybody can ever recall what the cigarettes did, please let me know for Metal Gear. Excuse me again. But thank you, James. Appreciate that. Great top 10. Zelda 2, honorable mention as well. Simon's Quest. Yeah, we just talked about it. Appreciate you with your comments. But we'll be back next week. Sega Genesis. Talking about Star Wars: The Acolyte. And we'll probably have another indie author on as well next week. So check in. I appreciate you guys. He said was that what the cigarettes were used for lasers? Maybe I don't recall, man. It's been how long since I played it? Oh, that's great. Now I'm gonna have to go back and try it. So the smoke helped the lasers. That's awesome. So maybe I just never used them and just I don't know. That's awesome. Thank you, James. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate the inputs on there. That's great. But we'll be back again. Appreciate everybody that came out. You guys are awesome. You always make these shows fun when we get a lot of interaction. And we'll be back again next week. We'll see you. Thank you for coming out. Have a blessed day. and keep chugging along.